Hello from the 11th inning stretch. My name is Paul Epi, and this is the series. This is not a series preview. This is actually a podcast. What am I thinking? This is a MLB weekend review podcast. I am by myself. Once again, Alex is still on vacation. Alex, I hope you are enjoying yourself. If you are listening to this, we have school starting next week, so hope you're getting all freshed up and all relaxed and ready to go for school. We will see you back here next week. I don't have too much MLB news to discuss. I have a couple things. We'll get right into it. This is going to be a pretty short podcast, just recapping the weekend news. The biggest thing is Alex Rodriguez retiring. Last week he called the press conference and he said that this Friday, August 12th, he would retire. After the game on August 12th, he would retire, and that was sort of the biggest thing to come out of this past week. My thoughts is not to be too brutal, but good. I'm glad to see him go. He has not performed anything close to what he did in his prime, steroids or not. He was part-time DH for the Yankees. He was either basically DHing or on the bench. He really has not done much this season. He was a total shell of his former self. His stat line for this season is, he's only batting .203 with 9 home runs and 29 RBIs. He's 41 years old, and the age really starts to be showing for him. Him and the Yankees worked out an agreement that he would take some sort of coaching or advising role after he retired on Friday. But to be honest with you, I don't see that happening, because I really do feel like he's not completely done yet. He's only a couple home runs away from 700. And if I were him, I would want to get to 700. He's at 696 for his career. It's not like he's 20 or 30 away. He's only 4 home runs away. If I were him, I wanted to at least get to 700. I think he's only 4th or 5th on the all-time home run list. But I'm just not quite sure what team would want to sign him, because no one likes him. If you're not a Yankees fan, you generally don't like Alex Rodriguez. But I could totally see a team signing him, and their goal is just to put butts in the seats. Maybe I'm just naming a team. Maybe the Brewers want to sign him, and we all know the Brewers aren't contending this season, so maybe they want to go sign Alex Rodriguez and see if he can hit his 700th home run and at least put some more fans in the seats. Who knows? We will see. The next big news is also out of New York. Mark Teixeira is retiring. I don't have too much on Mark. He's been an American League player for the vast majority of his career, so he isn't somebody that I have particularly been following. This season, he's only batting 198 with 10 home runs, and he's sort of been sharing the DHing role, and then he's also been playing first base and on the bench. He's basically like A-Rod. If he's not DHing, he's usually on the bench, but he can play some first base too. He's 36, so not quite as old as A-Rod, but the same concept applies in a sense that he's a shell of his former self. Even last season, 2015, he had 31 home runs. He was batting .255. That's really not all that terrible. 31 home runs is actually really good, and 255 isn't totally abysmal. But back in his earlier days of the Yankees in 2009, 2010. He had 39 and 33 home runs. With Texas, that's where he made all of his money. He hit 43 home runs back in 2005. You could just tell that with all these injuries and all these years of playing first base that it all kind of racked up on him. But best of luck to him in the future. I'm sure the Yankees will miss you. I'm sure opposing American League pitchers won't, but the fans will. So best of luck to you, Mark Teixeira. Finally, the other big news comes out of Texas. The first thing is that Prince Fielder retired. He is somebody that I have much more experience with. We saw him. Cardinals fans saw him for years when he was with the Brewers. He was with Milwaukee from 2005 to 2011. And he was scary. In 2007, he had 50 home runs. And we all thought, oh, gosh, he's going to be a Hall of Fame player. Just watching him take those enormous swings at the ball, well, if you're a Brewers fan, was fun to watch. But if you're a Cardinals fan, it was downright scary. Because if he made contact with it, it almost seemed like it was leaving the park because that's how hard he would swing. Although Prince's case is a little more interesting and it's a bit more different than it is with A-Rod and Teixeira. He's only 32 years old, but the reason he's retiring is because of a neck injury. At the press conference in which he announced his retirement, he had a big neck brace on, and he was really down that he couldn't play anymore. You could tell that he was really going to miss the game. It's going to be a little different without him because you're so used to seeing him because he really isn't one of those guys that gets injured all the time, unlike Teixeira, it seemed like. But these last couple of years, these injuries have been racking up on him. And you could just tell that he physically would not be able to play. And that is a little sad to see. But best of luck to you, Prince. I know a lot of Cardinals fans are glad that you are in the American League. And I'm sure a lot of Astros fans and other AL West opponents are sad to see you go, but at the same time, they're sort of glad they don't have to face you because you were that good of a hitter. Best of luck to you, Prince Fielder. Finally, a note that came out yesterday. Carlos Gomez has gotten released by the Houston Astros. Carlos Gomez has had sort of an interesting past couple of years. When he was with the Brewers from 2010 to 2014, he was another one of those guys that Cardinals fans didn't like seeing in the batter's box because he was really good. And but then once he was traded to Houston back in 2015, he's done basically nothing. In the few at bats that I've watched, is that he just basically tries and hits home runs too much, which is probably why he's batting, only about 210 on the season. Injuries have plagued him this season, but he really has underperformed with Houston. He's only 30 years old, so it's not like he's getting old. He still has a couple of good seasons left. So the Astros released him. I would be shocked if a team does not go pick him up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Gomez can, even just take the rest of the season off or go play in the minors, get your swing figured out, and come back in next season swinging. I still think he is a useful outfielder. I wouldn't be surprised to see him put it together at all. That is all I have for notes. I will be back on Sunday for a Cardinals podcast, and then next week with another series preview when the Cardinals go to Houston. But that is it for MLB news. That is all I have. Thank you for joining me. This has been the 11th inning stretch MLB week in review.